Rumors are escalating regarding the future of the Edmonton Oilers blue line, perhaps via a trade when it comes to Bob Stauffer of the Oilers Radio Network. But before we know all that, make sure to subscribe here to Oilers Digest, as we are 13 subscribers away from 2,200. And what better way to perhaps do it tonight than against a huge divisional opponent in the Vancouver Canucks, as this is the first time these two teams have faced off since Game 7 last spring. But before we get into that, we have some blue line rumblings. Yes, like I said earlier, Bob Stauffer on Oilers Now on the Oilers Radio Network had this to say about a potential blue line move. He said there's been a general assumption that the Oilers will add a right shot shutdown defenseman at some point. You know, a guy like Rasmus Ristolainen that was thrown around in the summer by Bob Stauffer, or a guy like Radko Gudas, despite his not wanting to be in Canada. But that's besides the point. But an argument can be made if they would be better off getting another defenseman who can play the right side, who can transition the puck. And he was asked about, a particular guy that he had in mind. And this is who he had in mind. He had Erik Gustafsson of the Detroit Red Wings in mind. Yes, he's getting a little old, 32 years old. I mean, it's only the same age as Mattias Ekholm, but it's pretty much a value contract, $2 million for 2 years. You can see there in the bottom left, yes, he was drafted by the Edmonton Oilers, so this would technically be him coming home to the Oilers organization, and I wouldn't be opposed to it at all when it comes to his underlying stats. Not from this year. Currently, a bigger sample size from the year before with the New York Rangers. There, the underlying numbers suggest that, he wasn't half bad at all. I mean, the main partner he was with all year was Braden Schneider, and then he was with Adam Fox there for a little bit. And you can see there on the right-hand side, the Corsi percentage with Adam Fox through the roof. So that would be a huge get for the Edmonton Oilers. I know Erik Gustafsson was split on the opinions of Ranger fans alike. Some hated him, some loved him, but who did love him? The underlying stats, not just the Corsi, but the coming from the JFresh chart here, the wins above replacement for both the offense and the defense in his favor. And on the offensive side, tremendous. The only thing really I'm worried about is in his zone a little bit, like the possession rates, very low. D-zone retrievals, not very good at retrieving the puck, and if you put him next to a guy like Darnell Nurse, that could be a little bit of a worrisome pairing, but you need a guy to transition the puck, and who knows what you could do with Erik Gustafsson. Even put him on the third pairing and have a guy put Gustafsson and Emberson next to each other. That'd be a fantastic pairing. And then have Kulak play his offside next to Nurse. Is it the most perfect D-core in the world? No, but is it better than what we have right now? A little bit. So, with that being said, there's breaking news from Elliot Friedman, and this could be another potential grab for the Oilers. Dante Fabro, who I showcased in the summer, would be a fantastic get for Edmonton, is on waivers. Of course, the Oilers are 11th in the waiver order. I know Nashville, who put him on waivers, is last. I think the next team up from that is San Jose and the Montreal, and so on and so forth. So there's a pretty slim chance the Oilers would be getting him, but who knows? It would be fantastic for the Oilers. Let me know down in the comments what you think about that whole defenseman situation. I wouldn't mind Gustafsson. I wouldn't mind, a guy like Ivan Provorov from Columbus. Sure. Again, the defensive stats, not so much, but you do need someone who is a little more capable in their own zone. So that is for Stan Bowman to sort of decipher for the Edmonton Oilers to fix on the defensive side. But the Edmonton Oilers are heading west for one game against the Vancouver Canucks. Now, there was some question marks regarding the availability of Mattias Janmark and if they were going to call up anybody from the Bakersfield Condors, who are in Abbotsford this weekend. So pretty good timing for the Condors and the Oilers to sort of be in the same area as the Condors are in Abbotsford. But Bakersfield, however, are dealing with injuries of their own. James Hamblin, Lane Peterson, and newcomer Roby Yarventi missed Wednesday's game with an injury days after debuting on the team, still working his way back from injury. Matt Savoy, meanwhile, was shaken up after blocking a shot late in the game, but from Ryan Holt, the play-by-play man for the Bakersfield Condors, says the Condors got lucky here, it looks like, in avoiding major injury. And Drake Jula and Noah Philp returned to Bakersfield to add some depth, but they are a team fighting the injury bug. And with that being said, Mattias Janmark is playing tonight for the Edmonton Oilers on the fourth line, with the first line being a reunited Jeff Skinner, McDavid, and Hyman, as during practices, that top line looked to be Ryan Nugent-Hopkins, McDavid, and Hyman, but it looks like the Oilers are rolling with McDavid, Draisaitl, and Nuge down the middle, with Podkolzin and Draisaitl and Arvidsson making up that second line. A very good second line for the Oilers. Has the offensive been have they been lucky on the offensive side? Not so much, but in due time. And then Adam Henrique, Nuge, and Connor Brown on the third line. Meanwhile, Matisse Janmark, Derek Ryan, and Corey Perry make up the fourth line, and then Matisse Ekholm and Evan Bouchard, who hopefully shakes off that little bit of a rusty game against the Vegas Golden Knights tonight. Meanwhile, you have Nurse and Stetcher, and then Brett Kulak and Ty Emberson. So it looks like Emberson is being more consistently played in the lineup, which is good news for me, because, you know, the rotation with Emberson and Dermott, you know, if you're a player that's constantly being rotated, you start to lose that confidence, and you need a guy like Ty Emberson, nice and young, with that confidence. Of course, Stuart Skinner mans the pipes tonight at Rogers Arena, and Edmonton's power play will be in tough against the Vancouver penalty kill that ranked 10th in the league with an 84.1% rating. The Oilers, or the Canucks rather, are below league average with a 17.9% power play rating, while the Oilers rank dead last in penalty kill efficiency with 15 goals allowed on 37 chances against. So another big test for the Oilers on the special teams tonight. What better way to sort of bounce back than, again, against a huge divisional opponent in Vancouver? Of course, you know, the Oilers last year, they didn't win any regular season games against the Canucks despite winning the playoff series. So hopefully they get a win against the Canucks in the regular season. But that is, time will tell on that part. But we will look at the opposition observation with the Vancouver Canucks, sort of taking a look at what they are bringing against the Edmonton Oilers tonight. Of course, the Vancouver Canucks third in the Pacific Division, 17 points there, only above, you know, Calgary, Edmonton, and Seattle, but only trailing Vegas in Los Angeles. And, you know, the record, you know, 7-2-3, you know, on the standings wise, that looks good, but the Canucks sort of struggling as they are finding their footing through their season so far. Of course, riding a 3-game win streak, you know, the California sweep, despite, you know, California not being that hard that it used to be maybe 10, 15 years ago when all three teams were dominant, but the Canucks coming in there on a 3-game win streak. Just taking a look at the lineup there, no Brock Besser for the Canucks tonight after taking that nasty hit from Tanner Jeannot against the Los Angeles Kings, with Pius Suter, JT Miller, Connor Garland making up that first line, Niels Höglander, Elias Pettersson, who is having a very slow start to the season after getting his contract extension, and then Jake DeBrusk makes up that second line, and then Danton Heinen, Teddy Bluger, and Kiefer Sherwood make up the third line, and lastly here, Nilsaman, Atu Ratu, and Arshdeep Bains, the hometown kid for the Vancouver Canucks, makes up that forward core. And on the back end, you have one scary pair, and then the other two are just floating around. Quinn Hughes, Phil Peronic, Carson Soucy, Tyler Myers, Eric Brandstrom, and former Oiler playing his team for the very first time tonight in the regular season with Vincent Desharnais. And of course, Kevin Lankinen yet to lose in regulation time this season, carrying a goals against average of just a little over 2 and a save percentage of .923. But the real scary part for the Oilers tonight is that Hughes-Hronek matchup. You can see there they have to win the minutes when those two are not on the ice. As you can see there, the Myers and Soucy and Desharnais and Brandstrom pairings, not as potent as Hughes and Hronek are on the ice. So that is one matchup the Oilers do have to take advantage of. Of course, the Myers-Soucy line pairing was hard matched to the Connor McDavid line in the playoffs last year. So who knows if that's the pairing we will see against that line tonight. But again, time will only tell. It'll be interesting to see Vincent Desharnais on the Canucks penalty kill against a very familiar Oilers power play that he was used to seeing many times in practice. And again, huge divisional matchup against the Canucks tonight. I hope the Oilers, just sort of get things back under control. Of course, in all the post-game pressers, the morning skate pressers, Kris Knoblauch, Leon Draisaitl, Connor McDavid, all the stars are saying we have to get back into our regular motion, and it's pretty much all talk but no walk. You can say that about the expected goal stats, the shots on goal stats, their ability to not finish, but after a certain while, you have to expect things to get back on track. Let me know down in the comments what you think about the whole game tonight. That's it for today's video. Make sure to subscribe to the channel again. Make sure we get to 2,200 subscribers. That would be a huge milestone to hit. That's it for today's video. Have yourself a great day. Enjoy the game tonight, and let's go Oilers.